Is that iconic Australian rum you are drinking even Australian-owned anymore? You crack open a Bundy and Cola after work. You see the polar bear on the label, the Queensland imagery, and you assume you are supporting an Australian company with over 100 years of heritage. But here is what the marketing does not tell you. The vast majority of Australia's most popular spirits and premixed drinks are now owned by multinational corporations based in London, Tokyo, and Paris. That Australian icon in your hand was likely bottled in Sydney by a British conglomerate. And some of those brightly coloured premix cans contain so much sugar that nearly a quarter of young people cannot even taste the alcohol. I spent weeks researching ownership structures, production methods, and industry investigations. What I found explains why Australians are drinking corporate products dressed up as local legends. Let me show you which brands to avoid. Number 1. Bundaberg Rum. Bundaberg Rum has been an Australian icon since 1888, created by Queensland sugar millers who turned waste molasses into something legendary. But here is the twist. Bundaberg Rum has not been Australian-owned since 2000. The company was sold to British multinational Diageo, one of the world's largest spirits corporations. And in 2014, Diageo made a decision that devastated regional Queensland. They relocated the bottling operations from Bundaberg to Huntingwood in Western Sydney. Jobs were lost in the very city that bears the name of the drink. Queensland Premier Campbell Newman called it a disappointing move, particularly for a region that had suffered devastating floods. The Bundaberg mayor said he was saddened by the announcement. Now your Bundy is distilled in Queensland but bottled in Sydney by a London-based corporation. The profits flow overseas while regional communities lose jobs. Diageo even admitted they were experiencing continued pressure from lower alcohol consumption and punitive excise tax, so they cut costs by gutting local operations. Diageo is not just any corporation. In 2011, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission fined Diageo $16 million for bribing government officials in India, Thailand, and South Korea. Payments were disguised as special rebates and sales incentives. Is this the company you want to support with your hard-earned money? Number 2. UDL Premix Cans. UDL was Australia's first ever premix drink, launched in 1965. Those brightly coloured cans are a nostalgic icon for generations of Australians. UDL stands for United Distillers Limited, which eventually merged into Diageo. For decades, this so-called Australian original was owned by the same British corporation as Bundaberg Rum. Then in August 2025, Diageo offloaded UDL to VOC Beverages. The decision, according to Diageo, was about unlocking future growth across their broader portfolio. Translation: UDL was not profitable enough for the multinational, so they dumped it. Here is what should concern you about premixed drinks like UDL. Research shows these products are designed to mask the taste of alcohol with sugar and artificial flavors. A study found that almost a quarter of 18 and 19-year-olds could not taste the alcohol in Alco-Pops. One participant said these drinks are great because they taste like soft drink, so kids do not realize how drunk they are getting. Industry groups have described premixed drinks as bridging or gateway beverages for less experienced drinkers. When nearly a quarter of young adults cannot detect alcohol in what they are drinking, something is seriously wrong with the product design. Number 3. Vodka Cruiser. Vodka Cruiser was launched in New Zealand in 2000, and it quickly became Australia's #1 vodka premix. Those colourful bottles are everywhere. But in 2011, Japanese beverage giant Asahi acquired the parent company for approximately $1.3 billion. Vodka Cruiser is now part of the same Japanese conglomerate that controls nearly 50% of Australia's beer market through Carlton United Breweries. The brightly coloured packaging and fruity flavours are no accident. Research describes Vodka Cruiser as the most commonly consumed form of alcohol by girls aged 12 to 17. Marketing draws heavily on pop culture references and young, hip images to create a sense of identity. Consumer advocacy group Choice conducted a taste test, and participants found it most difficult to identify alcohol in vodka mudshake. which looks and tastes like a chocolate milkshake. Only 51% of males thought this beverage contained alcohol. When a product is specifically designed so young people cannot taste the alcohol, you have to question the ethics of the marketing. These products are technically legal and targeted at people over 18, but the design speaks for itself. Number 4. Woodstock Bourbon and Cola. Woodstock positions itself as genuine Kentucky bourbon, the bourbon and cola of choice for many Australians. The marketing emphasises American heritage and authentic bourbon taste. But Woodstock is owned by Asahi Premium Beverages, part of the same Japanese conglomerate that owns Carlton and United Breweries, Victoria Bitter, and Great Northern. The bourbon itself is imported, but the premix is manufactured in Australia by a Japanese corporation. Like other Asahi products, the profits flow to Tokyo, while the marketing sells an Australian lifestyle. Consumer reviews on Product Review Australia tell a different story from the advertising. One reviewer complained about finding foreign material in their can. Another said the product tasted off and they could not drink it. Multiple reviews mention inconsistent quality between batches. When you are paying for convenience, you are often getting the lowest common denominator. The bourbon in your Woodstock premix is not the same quality you would get buying a bottle and mixing it yourself. Number 5. 4 Pillars Gin. This one hurts, because 4 Pillars was genuinely Australian. Founded in 2013 by 3 mates in Victoria's Yarra Valley, 4 Pillars became Australia's benchmark craft gin. They won International Gin Distillery of the Year twice. They represented everything good about the Australian craft spirits movement. Then in March 2019, Japanese-owned Lion bought a 50% stake. In July 2023, Lion completed the full takeover for a reported $50 million. 4 Pillars is now 100% owned by Lion, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Japanese brewing giant Kirin. The same company owns Tooheys, XXX, James Squire, and Little Creatures. The founders said Lion backed them at every step and helped fund their new distillery. But the reality is, another Australian craft success story has been absorbed into a multinational corporation. This is part of a pattern. Mountain Goat, 4 Pines, Little Creatures, and now 4 Pillars. Every time an Australian craft producer gains success, a multinational swoops in. The innovation happens here, but the long-term profits flow overseas. Number 6. Any supermarket phantom brand spirit. This is the biggest scandal in Australian spirits, and most people have no idea it is happening. Woolworths and Coles, through Dan Murphy's, BWS, Liquorland and First Choice, own hundreds of alcohol brands that are designed to look like independent producers. These are called phantom brands or phantom private label. Industry analysis shows Pinnacle Drinks, which is owned by the Woolworths spin-off Endeavour Group, partners with distillers to create brands sold exclusively through their retail network. The ownership is never publicly disclosed on the packaging. You might pick up a bottle thinking you are supporting a small Australian distillery, but the address on the back often leads to a corporate headquarters. The wine industry investigation by ABC Four Corners exposed this practice, and it extends to spirits, beer, and cider. The purpose is simple. These products cost the retailers far less than buying from branded suppliers, but they can be sold at similar prices because consumers think they are getting something premium. Someone gets shafted, and the supermarket giants clean up. Rather than labeling these products Woolworths Select Vodka or Coles Own Whiskey, retailers create designer labels to disguise their origin. This practice undermines genuine craft distillers who actually employ people in their communities. So what should you actually drink? First, support genuinely independent Australian distilleries. Archie Rose in Sydney was founded in 2014 and remains independently owned. They have won World's Best Rye Whiskey 3 times and produce everything from whiskey to gin to vodka using Australian ingredients. They source 100% of their malts from Australian growers. Starwood in Melbourne makes whiskey matured in Australian red wine barrels. They remain Australian owned and represent genuine innovation. Other independent options include Never Never Distillery in South Australia, Adelaide Hills Distillery, Patient Wolf in Melbourne, Cape Byron Distillery, Lark Distillery in Tasmania, and Sullivan's Cove. Second, check the back of the bottle. If the address leads to a major city corporate headquarters rather than an actual distillery location, be suspicious. Third, buy directly from distillery cellar doors when possible. You will know exactly where your money is going. Fourth, avoid the supermarket duopoly for spirits. Endeavour Group, which owns Dan Murphy's and BWS, controls approximately 50% of alcohol retail. Their private label phantom brands undermine genuine producers. Here is the bottom line. The Australian spirits market is dominated by three multinational corporations: Diageo from Britain, Asahi and Kirin from Japan, and Pernod Ricard from France. Between them, they own most of the brands Australians trust. Meanwhile, Australia has over 350 independent distilleries, up from just 28 in 2014. The craft movement is thriving, but it is under constant pressure from multinationals looking to acquire successful brands. Every time you buy from a genuinely independent Australian distiller, you are supporting local jobs, local innovation, and keeping profits in Australian communities. If this video helped you, hit the like button, share this with your mates, and subscribe to Crisis Report Aussie for more consumer investigations. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss our next expose. Leave a comment below telling me what Australian spirits brand you have discovered is not what it seems, and what independent distilleries you recommend. Together, we are going to hold these corporations accountable, because Australians deserve to know who actually owns the brands they have trusted for generations. I will see you in the next one.